So after watching the absolute firestorm happening on Discord and Reddit and all the other places after today's nerfs to the railgun and the shield and the breaker on Helldivers 2, it occurs to me that I don't think most people know how to play this game or understand what they're trying to do. Now, I have this screenshot here. This is from their blog, from their website. They are saying a game for everyone is a game for no one. We're going to be referencing that a lot, so I just wanted to have this at the start of the video so you can see that is officially their stance. So let's start with talking about the nerfs. So essentially, the breaker shotgun got a smaller magazine size and more recoil. The railgun fires in safe mode still, but does not penetrate in safe mode the heavy armor. So chargers and things like that cannot be taken down if you're playing it safe. They also made it so the shield takes a little bit longer to recharge. Now, I personally don't use the shield, so I haven't tested this myself, so I don't know what that little bit longer is. That could be 1 second, that could be 5 seconds. I don't know the specifics on that one. But as these nerfs are coming through, a lot of people are really upset, and they're in the forums, and they're in Reddit, they're saying that, hey, this is a PvE game, so why are you nerfing things? Why are you taking the fun things away from us? This is how we want to play. Why not instead just give buffs to the other weapons rather than nerfing these guns? And a big part of those complaints, it's important to note, come from players who are saying that, hey, I'm a solo player. I like to play this game by myself, and I need these tools to be able to play through the hardest difficulty by myself. And that's where fundamentally, I think the first issue is going to come up. We're going to reference back to that quote at the start again. A game for everyone is a game for no one. The devs have clearly intended this game to be played as a multiplayer game. They do not appear to have any interest in wanting people to be able to play as solo or care about the solo player experience, because again, they're not trying to balance this game around for everyone. They're not trying to appease everyone. They are trying to bring their vision to life, which is a PvE multiplayer experience with a squad of 4. So I don't think the devs are overly concerned over your ability to solo. That being said, again, I don't use the shield, and I've hardly used the railgun. This game is very much still doable if you want to solo the game. You just have to play the game the quote right way. There are so many people I see that are playing this game as Call of Duty, as Fortnite, as Rainbow Six, as other shooters. This game does not play the same way as those other games. There are so many people concerned with getting the most kills or being able to take out entire hordes of enemies or taking out every single enemy on the map and doing every little thing on the map. That's not how this game plays. The lore of the game, the world you're supposed to feel like you're a part of, is you are a Helldiver and you're going in against all these odds and you are going to die. They say that your expected time in like the tutorial is something like only a few days, maybe one mission. Like, they fully anticipate you dying. They're sending you to your death. That is why one of the difficulties is called Suicide Mission. So if you were able to just walk in and take everything out and extract perfectly fine, that would defeat the whole lore of the world. This is overwhelming odds. You're supposed to get in there and get the mission done. And if you walk out alive, well, that's a little bonus, but they don't really care about that. So the video you're going to see in the background as I'm talking here, this is my Helldive from today with the post the nerfs, showing that it is still indeed possible to complete the game, complete the mission, do those things even with these nerfs using the non-meta weapons. There's a very important gameplay aspect, I think, that isn't discussed enough, and that is what gives you experience. So obviously experience points in any games, that's what you're trying to get, right? You're trying to level up. It shows what you're trying to do. Even like in Dungeons and Dragons, when you're doing like milestone leveling, you're getting experience for doing the things that you want to do, and your DM's not going to give you experience for things that they don't want you doing because they don't want to reinforce negative behaviors. If you'll notice, none of the enemies in this game give you experience. That's because it doesn't matter whether you kill 1 enemy, 100 enemies, or 400 enemies. That's not the point of these missions, and I think, like I said, a lot of these Call of Duty, Fortnite players are coming into this wanting to take out entire squadrons, cleanse the planet of all the bugs, but that's not the point. You're not here to destroy all the bugs. You're here to do the mission. Now, ironically, this particular mission I'm doing is destroying all the eggs, but that's all I have to do. So people talk about the railgun and needing it to take down when you're getting charged by 6 chargers and 3 bile titans and it's your only tool. You don't need to take out the chargers and the bile titans. In fact, that is why that this game is seen as a team game. You need 2 or 3 people distracting those enemies. Sure, if you can take them out, that's great. But all you need is people distracting those enemies so one other person can go in and do the mission, whether that be touch the terminal or deliver the SSD, or in this case, be able to take out the eggs without being swarmed. People talk about the primary guns being useless, and that's, again, I think, an intentional feeling of the theme of this game. You're using this powerful shotgun, and it takes half a clip just to take down one bug. That's because these bugs are heavily armored. They are real threats. In a one-on-one, you don't stand a chance, and there's 50 of them. You're supposed to feel overwhelmed and like your tools aren't effective because they're not supposed to be effective at just cleansing out all the bugs, because that's not what you're on that mission for. Think of more like being a commando. I almost would put this more towards like sniper warrior games or even Metal Gear Solid, even though Metal Gear you can go a little bit more guns blazing. But stealth is preferable, right? You take out the things you absolutely need to take out, and you try and avoid and zigzag around all the other issues. Now this nest, you'll see I had a little bit harder of a time taking out. I had to back off, re-engage, I had to use all of my tools, and I died a few times. That's the second thing I want to really point out here is, again, death is expected. There's a reason why they give you in a squad of 4, 20 extra dudes, and those go up. You can even get stratagems to make you get even more people because you're expected to die. When you're looking at other video games, you know, death is bad. You see it as, okay, I need to avoid that at all costs because that's the game over. Death here is not a game over. You're supposed to die. It's getting the most out of that life for what you've accomplished. So if you can spend 1 or 2 lives and complete a main mission objective, your entire team is farther ahead because of it. Now, of course, important note, I'm not saying that you should go out intentionally dying. You should not just try and, suicide things. But at the same time, death is a part of the game. You should use that to your advantage. That's how you restock your weapons if your resupplies are low. That's how you get to different areas, maneuver around the bugs. That's how you refresh your grenades when there's no supplies. Death is absolutely a mechanic that you need to learn to embrace and play around. And I think so many people are just so conditioned to think death is bad, it's the end of the game, it's game over, I shouldn't do that, that they're not utilizing it as a game mechanic and they see it as a failure. It's not a failure. That's why they give you tons of lives. Comparing again to like Call of Duty, where people focus so much on KD ratios, your kill to death ratio. I got 20 kills and only 1 death, I'm amazing. That really doesn't apply here. If you die 5 times and only killed 3 bugs, but you completed 4 missions, again, your team has a net advantage for you having done those things. Even more so if we're talking about like stalker lairs, stalkers absolutely rip teams apart. If you lose 1 or 2 lives, we're able to remove a stalker lair, which makes the entire map easier for your team. To me, that's another net gain. Now, I think the third thing to talk about that's probably the most important, but I forgot to talk about it until now, so, should have been first, but here we are now, is it fun? Right? At the end of the day, this is not a job. This is not something that should be stressing you out. It should not be upsetting you. It's supposed to be a fun way to relax with friends or play a game or feel a little accomplishment here and there. If you're not having fun, then you're not playing the game right. And if ultimately the railgun nerfs and the shield nerfs and all that make it so that the game is just not fun for you, well, then maybe it's just not the right game for you to play anymore. I feel like we don't, as a society, say that enough when it comes to our entertainment hours. We watch TV shows that other people are watching, even though we don't like them. We play video games other people are playing, even though we don't like them. It's okay to say, I'm not having fun with this anymore, so I'm not going to play it. But again, we have to look at the devs want to make a very specific game. They have a very specific mission in mind, a very specific outcome for the game in mind. And if our vision doesn't match that, That's okay, and maybe it's time for us just to step away from the game. However, with all of that said, I think what they're creating here is an absolute blast, and if you change your mindset to kind of match what they're going for, this can be an exhilarating, super fun game. And it's just shifting that mindset from I'm Call of Duty player, I've got to get all the kills, no deaths, to I'm here, I'm going to die, but I'm gonna get the mission done for democracy, for liberty. A few different magazine outlets were reporting that this game was very easy to roleplay, that there were more people coming out on Twitter, X, on Reddit, people in-game who were just kind of getting sucked into the lore and screaming, "For democracy! Sweet liberty, my leg! How about a cup of liberty?" And really, like, getting into character. And I think that's an absolute must to get into the headspace of the game. Again, you're not some prophetic hero. You're not here to win the day. You're not going to win the war by yourself. Your job is to jump down to this planet, die 10 times, and increase the Liberty campaign by 0.001% by completing the mission. You're a cog in the machine. You are not the machine. And I think once you accept that, and like I said, roleplay, have some fun, get into it, you're going to enjoy the game so much more. It's also worth pointing out that patches are just that. They're patches, right? Some of these nerfs may be undone. I would certainly be happy to see other weapons buffed up, new metas arise, new options for people come up. If you've watched my other videos, you've seen that I make some custom classes. I've got a flamethrower. I'm coming out with a storm sentinel here soon. And it's just a way to build classes different and play the game in a different way. Like, this is all laser soldier, as an all fire soldier, and really explore some of those other weapons. Because again, it's about fun, exploring those different weapons, exploring different metas, instead of just, okay, railgun, shield backpack, 500 kilogram bomb, and breaker shotgun on every single match. You're going to get burnt out from that eventually. Now, I'm running low on things to say, and I don't want to pad this video out, but I did want to show the entire video of this match that I have here, showing that I did indeed complete a level 9 Helldive solo without any of the meta weapons. So while I'm wrapping up and giving my final thoughts here, you might see it go into like a super speed or something like that, so you can finish watching that and see that I do have proof that I know at least a little bit of what I'm talking about here. So my main takeaway from this, again, is I'm not here to say get good. I'm not here to say that get over the nerfs. I'm simply saying if you look at the game as it is and what the devs are trying to come forth with, you might enjoy the game and appreciate it in a different light if you stop thinking of it like any other shooter, any other battle royale, because it's not those things. It's really in a league of its own. The only other thing I've seen people try and compare it to is Deep Rock Galactic, and even that, I think, doesn't fully match what they're going for here, what this game fully is to enjoy. So if you've made it this far, I just want to quickly say thank you for watching this full video. You know, like, subscribe, all those things help me. I know it's annoying to hear, but you have to remind people at least once or it never happens, so I appreciate that, and all of your views and help and all that stuff. And I hope to see you out on the battlefield. Come Helldive with me. I stream, well, here soon I'm probably going to have a job, so I won't be streaming as much, but come join me. Come have fun. Don't play the meta. Come use a flamethrower. Use that recoil rifle. Whatever you want to use. Just have fun with it, and I think you'll see that it's a totally different game than anything else we've been playing, and it's worth enjoying and experiencing.